Hello friends, welcome to this video. We will guide you on an exciting journey to discover where and how to spot the magical world of butterflies. To start, we need to understand a little bit about their fascinating behavior. While there are many factors at play, we'll focus on the basics to get you started. First, remember that a butterfly is just one stage of a butterfly's life cycle. Most people, with the exception of small inquisitive youngsters, notice the adult butterflies first, so that is where we will begin. Sometimes there are just too many to ignore, even for adults or dogs. Adult butterflies live an average of a few weeks, although some can last a season, and others only a few days. Thus we are already limited in the time when we can see them. Fortunately, there are many species with different flight periods, so we are mostly good. And in Africa, there are usually some butterflies around, although the effort required to see them may increase at times. The second aspect to consider is that they love the sun, so they almost universally love sunny days, from where they steal a little bit of sunshine for energy. On rainy days, butterflies usually just sit and wait it out. A next consideration is that most of them need to get additional energy to maintain their very hectic lifestyle. And don't think that that leisurely flight pattern uses only a little bit of energy, as they keep some stored up to rapidly disappear when you want to photograph them, or more likely when they need to escape a greedy predator. They get this energy often from the nectar in flowers, sometimes from rotten fruit, and sometimes, grossly, from animal droppings. They could even suck up nutrients from wet patches on the ground. Something else to think about is that they, as all species on Earth, need to look after their own future, and hence they must reproduce. For this they need to nourish their young, and butterflies are mostly quite fussy, often only allowing their caterpillars to feed on very specific food, or in this case plants. Females can often be seen searching for just the right food for her offspring. Another consideration is where you want to look for them, because whilst there are butterflies almost everywhere, not all species occur everywhere. But don't despair. The likelihood of finding butterflies near you is very, very high. Because Africa is large, it will not be possible to describe every kind of habitat. But we will start with those that a beginner is most likely to visit first. Number 1. Your garden. Gardens are often great places to start because humans love to plant flowers and trees, and oftentimes these are exactly the food plants that the next generation needs to survive. They are also very accessible. While we love nicely manicured gardens as well, it is important to avoid pesticides and insecticides in our gardens, as these mostly have the opposite effect of attracting butterflies. It is also good to have a few, or many, indigenous plants in the garden. Indigenous plants provide homes and food to a variety of insects. Exotics may produce some nectar, but in general, very few exotic plants are eaten by butterfly caterpillars. So in your garden, step 1 is to open your eyes and on a sunny day look around the flowers, or sometimes just wander around the lawns. Number 2. Public places and other gardens. We are not encouraging you to trespass, but village gardens, gardens around other public places are also well worth a visit. Botanical gardens like the Walter Sisulu Botanical Gardens in Johannesburg, Pretoria Botanical Gardens, and even some arboreums in Uganda and Ghana make fantastic habitats for butterflies. Number 3. Boldly traveling around. Forests often house a multitude of species. A few fly in the dark undergrowth, but most others prefer the tracks or the forest edges. Keep your eyes peeled and look for sunny spots. Flowers also like the sun. In the bushveld or savanna, butterflies typically fly from one flowering bush to another, or of course, host plant to host plant. Once you have seen one, try and follow it, and you may come across others. A very good idea in the bushveld is to try and locate a kopje or a hilltop and go to the top of it. Many butterflies are very fond of hilltopping. We will describe this behavior in a future video, but you will be amazed at the abundance of butterflies to be found there. Many mountains and grasslands also offer opportunities. and the easiest way may well be to investigate streams or marshes. Now, of course, we're not going to find all the butterflies on the continent. But as a start, we will give you some hints about South Africa because we are most familiar with it. And fortunately, it boasts more than 600 species. The Western Cape suffers from some serious butterfly problems, such as high winds. This never deterred the butterflies, as they have simply evolved to deal with it. They tend to be very small and fast flying, so often quite difficult to approach. In spring and summer, the mountains abound with opals and russets and noble blues. In February, dark brown widows are flying all around, and on mountains one often sees the majestic Table Mountain beauty, our national butterfly. On top of the mountains or hill peaks, one can be lucky enough to find Protea emperors, a few very special blues, and maybe some russets in the summer and autumn. In spite of the spectacular spring flowers in the succulent Karoo, or better known as Namakwaland, they are not really that attractive to butterflies. It is best to wander along the many tracks in the mountains, or follow some dry riverbeds through the valleys. Sometimes some real surprises, such as this silver russet, may await you. In spite of its small size, Gauteng boasts many butterflies, and good places to visit are the botanical gardens in Roodepoort and Pretoria. Other than that, many hills are accessible and are worth a try. Gauteng butterflies start in spring with the blues and sapphires, and increase, with a little lull over Christmas to enjoy your own family time, towards autumn, where March and April are probably the best for the larger butterflies. In the mountains of the Eastern Cape, the same story as the rest of the Cape applies, with the exception of the large forests in the southern coast and the Transkei forests. Here the butterflies are numerous, and many may be seen, from large emperor swallowtails to bright sapphires. In KwaZulu-Natal, we move into butterfly areas with abundance. Zululand absolutely abounds from February to June, but do not exclude the rest of the year. There are many beauties. Similarly, Limpopo and Mpumalanga has beautiful bushveld areas, as well as some great mountains and forests. To name a few, we can mention the Volkberg, Lek Galametsi Reserve, the Soutpansberg, and the many game reserves in the bushveld. We will cover the provinces in more detail in future videos. As we are based in South Africa, our experiences in other countries will probably be limited to where we were able to go. But we have many friends who we will ask to shed some light onto these places. So, what to do if you have bad weather and have just traveled half a day or more to some exotic location? Well, all is not lost. You can make a large fire, find a pancake deli, take pictures of birds, study plants, make coffee on your little gas stove, and enjoy the scenery. Or you can try and chase some butterflies up by shaking branches, stumbling through grass and so on. But this is generally not very productive. We hope that these images have shown you the beauty that you never knew existed. With this little nugget of information, we hope you can take your first steps into finding butterflies and be mesmerized. If you haven't seen our video on how to identify butterflies, please open it so that you can have more enjoyment, plus some bragging rights. If you like videos like this and have not done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. It will help us a lot. If you have enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. And if you want to be notified of the next one, hit the notification button.